And been here in Charlotte about 17 years. So I was with two other firms before EXP, but this is it for me. I've got everything I need here with EXP and then some. But I guess my the strength I have is being from the Detroit area originally, and now here in Charlotte has given me experience in both extreme types of markets, from one of the hardest hit economies, with the auto industry and so forth, up in the Detroit area for many years, and now down here in Charlotte, where we have, I don't know, 400 people a day trying to move into this area with next to nothing for sale. It's a different type of a challenge. So, I've built my business on prospecting, on lead generating. To me, it all starts on the phone, and then that's how you build an initial pipeline. And I'm very heavy listings driven, especially since the new laws, right? um, but that's kind of the way I built my business, and I think Keith is attempting to pursue a very interesting niche market, and he and I have had numerous discussions about it, and I think his timing could be awfully effective here, especially if you give thought to since COVID up until our current and present time, what COVID did to our industry, and now we're 5 years later, and you look at the industry, interest rates, the inventory. There's people out there that still think the rates are going back to 3%. I
Mhm.
don't happen to believe that myself, but some do. Maybe I'm wrong. But so like around here, sellers have nowhere to go. Our inventory is at an all-time low here. In the last 2 years, we've said that. So it's lower and lower because the influx of people is much stronger than the supply. So we've got to create other ways to get listings, to create any inventory out there, and it's gone pretty quick.
Mhm.
So that, in a nutshell, is basically, where I'm from, what I do, and still make lots of calls, do lots of lead generating tools. And for the first time, we started probably 4 or 5 months ago. I now, so I can leverage more of my own time, brought on a part-time ISA, and she's doing wonderfully for me. And
Wow.
that's kind of another story, but it's really starting to gain traction. So anyway, if that helps, go ahead, Keith.
Okay. Well, by the way, John and I met, gosh, probably 5 years ago at one of our meetings,
Right.
and we just kind of hit it off. We kind of stayed in touch.
Yeah.
When I got here out to St. Simon's, I reached out to John, and we got together. I don't know, a month and a half ago or whatever it was, and there's just so many things that he shared with me in a short amount of time that really just revolutionized my way of thinking about expireds, withdrawals, FSBOs, even the aspect of prospecting. And so I asked John if he wouldn't mind coming on a call and just sharing some of those things with you all, because I think it was very, very helpful for me. And I've been in this business for probably too long. But but anyway, hey, welcome, Christy. Uh, so
How are you guys? I'm sorry.
good, good. Okay, so John, go ahead and dig in and just share the things. And if somebody has a question, just kind of jump in and ask for clarity. Is that all right, John?
Sure, absolutely. Glad to help any way I can. So, one of the things just as recent as last week, I found very interesting about real estate as a business and an industry right now. Um, I've gotten to know and exchange a lot of messages with Ricky Carruth. Do we all know who Ricky Carruth is?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big hitter. He's down in Mobile, Alabama. He's with EXP now, and I think he's on his seventh or eighth year consecutively, making over seven figures a year in gross commission income. Just him and one assistant. And to him, it all starts on this thing. always has, always will be about prospecting. He makes 100 calls a day, and he's got his own system. He's got his own coaching series, and that's kind of how I cut my teeth too. So where I'm going is he shared a couple of statistics, and most of us have seen from the social media pieces that I think it's 74% of agents haven't sold a single home this year. Have you guys seen that
Hmm.
news clip? And let's assume that's reasonably close to accurate. Well, Ricky was in one of his podcasts, at least last week, was sharing a thought in terms of a couple of statistics. And he says, well, it's come to my analysis that over 50% of real estate agents are afraid or don't like prospecting on the phone. Even call it cold calling. Depends on what niche you're pursuing. Okay. 25% within that same vein don't know what to say. Now,
Mhm.
I've got a private coaching business on the side, and one of the things I always lead with is whichever firm we're with, whoever our broker in charge is, whoever our sponsor, our mentor is, everybody's intentions are very, very good. So what you're going to hear is things like, okay, you got to go work your sphere. So I always looked at that as kind of, and that's a good source if you're good at working your sphere of influence, but we only have so many aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, and they kind of get tired of us, right? And if you're brand new and you haven't sold anything yet, that's hard to leverage that until you get a few miles down the road. And the same with social media, and the same with building a brand or somewhat of a name, an image for yourself. So if you're starting out brand new, or if you've been around for a while and you've kind of hit a bump in your road and your business is really struggling, it's hard to go that way. So a lot of brokers and team leaders, they'll tell you what to do, but it's very, very few and far between in my mind. They tell you how to do it. So in other words, okay, like Keith brought up, call expireds or call for sale by. I cut my teeth in Detroit, Michigan, calling for sale by owners in the snow. And to give you an idea, this was so much fun. I had to call on about five of them to get one that could sell because everybody was upside down, unemployed auto workers, which is not an easy conversation. And that's how I cut my teeth in real estate. And then I got better and better, and I got really good with for sale by owners. Then I added on expireds. Then I added on withdrawn listings. Then a little bit of off market prospects. So where I'm going is if you have a laser focused approach, and I keep it really, really simple for all my agents and even in my coaching, how to approach an expired phone call, how to approach a circle prospecting is one of the big new names here. Can you guys see me okay? I got this bar over my,
I
No,
can see you.
you're
I
okay,
see you
good.
fine. Yeah.
maybe it's a good thing you can't quite see all of me, huh? Uh,
Mhm.
but for sale by owner, withdrawn listing, cancel listing, expired, circle prospecting, just regular neighborhood canvassing. I'm of the opinion there's a fortune to be made out there, but you can't just wildly rattle off 80 to 100 calls. I mean, you may get one here and one there, but depending on what niche you're going after, you got to have a strategy. You got to have a clear-cut approach for that niche, or you're going to struggle. So, one of the things I've done phenomenally well on, and a lot of agents don't even realize this until I try to start doing it, is voicemails. There's
Mhm.
thousands of agents out there that'll make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls, rarely leave a voicemail. Well, I use my lovely wife as a sounding board from time to time, and I asked her, I say, honey, if you see a phone number that keeps coming up on your phone and you don't recognize it, nope, I'll never answer that call. That's one of those telemarketers, and I don't want any part of them. She'll never take the call. So you see where I'm going? Now, what about if you leave a very specific, focused voicemail? So may I share a story, Keith?
Absolutely.
Okay. Everybody hear me okay, loud and clear?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For all my new agents, I love to share this story because this has actually happened to me many, many times in 21 years. So let's say you have a rainy, dreary, cold, ugly Monday. You're starting a week on a Monday. You don't have any appointments, you don't have any meetings. So you're going to be prospecting. You're going to be on the phone trying to get some appointments, make some contacts, build your pipeline, get some things in the works. Okay, you got nothing going that day. So here you go. It's let's just say 8:30 Monday morning. You're making calls, you're making calls, you're making calls. Can't reach anybody, but you're diligently making calls. So whether it's an expired or a for sale by owner or a past client or somebody in your sphere, whatever your lead generation is, whatever area of expertise. So it's late morning, it's lunchtime. You made a lot of calls, haven't reached a soul. So this gets frustrating. And we've all had these days, right? Take a little light lunch break, back at it early afternoon. So you're calling and calling and calling. Still haven't reached anybody. Man, this is getting old. Late afternoon, 4, 4:30, 5, 5:30, whenever you start winding down, still making calls, but have not been able to have one conversation with a human being yet. Now, in my case, I've had many days like that, like every other person in sales, whereby 6 o'clock, you're ready to throw this thing right in a lake, right? Like, whatever possessed me to get into real estate, right? Now, in my case, I leave specific voicemails on every one of those calls. So here's what happens. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to speak to anybody that whole Monday. Now watch what happens. Here comes Tuesday morning. I get two calls back. I don't get any on back on Wednesday, but I got another one on Thursday and another one on Friday. Four return calls. These are still from Monday's calls, my outbound Monday calls. I'll just speed this up real fast. So, four return calls, all from sellers, all still very much interested in selling. Okay. Three turn into listing appointments. I got two of the three. Let's just, for numbers purposes, keep it real simple. Let's say each home was 400,000, which is almost impossible to find around here anymore. That's like a garage where Keith's from. You know what I mean? It's a mailbox. Um, I mean that in the humblest of ways, right, Keith? Okay. So two listings, 400,000 each, 6%, 3% on the listing side, 12,000 each. So starting from an ugly, dreary, rainy Monday where I couldn't hit the ocean from the beach in terms of phone calling, I made 24,000. Now, that has nothing to do with what happened Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of that same week. So when many agents are getting ready to just give up on this thing and say, "Oh, it's a waste of time," look at the cream that rose to the top with having a little bit of patience and really studying in on who you're calling and how to approach them. Because we're all real estate professionals, right? So what do we really want to do? We just want to talk to them. And we don't need a half hour, a 2, 3, maybe 5 minute conversation is all we need to find out if that's a serious, legitimate candidate for Keith's new niche business or any of ours. And usually it's a seller, right? Maybe a buyer, but usually starts with a seller. Okay. So making sense so far?
Yep.
Yep.
Now,
The
in my
24,000,
experience,
the $24,000 question is, John, what's the message you're leaving?
oh, I got a whole bunch of them. I I, I knew you were going to probably ask me that, so I got my whole desktop is covered with just see like here's expireds and withdrawals, here's for sale by owners. I got it all right here. But what I was going to share with you, in my humble opinion, and I got the gray hair to prove it, as you can see, here's where a gigantic piece of this business is completely missed. So an agent will be told by their broker, oh, try to call expireds once in a while, or try some neighborhood canvassing, or try some circle prospecting, whatever it is, a withdrawn listing, even if for sale by owner. So they'll make one attempt, maybe two attempts. If they don't get a resounding invitation to come list their house, they give up. Well, here's what my thing is: expired, withdrawn, we call them canceled over here. Now, expired, withdrawn, canceled, even for sale by owner, they've already all got their hand up. I call those warm calls. They're not cold call. Cold call is neighborhood cold hard canvassing. That's, as we say, that's a different sport, right? You got to have a thicker skin for that. But an expired, a withdrawn, even if for sale, but they already got their hand up. And what I have discovered over many years of doing this, 90% of them still want to sell. So they made a recent attempt to list and sell their home, but something disrupted the listing. So they either pulled it off the market or it expired or a combination of both for various reasons. Could have had a low appraisal. Maybe them and their buyer couldn't get together on repair request. Buyer had financing issues. Maybe a job relocation got canceled and delayed for a year. Maybe somebody was ill in the family. So what I've been able to gather, I mean, I've done hundreds of these, hundreds. 90% of all of those niches still want to sell. So something disrupted their timing. They still want to sell. And what I tell all my agents, when a market shifts, their motivation doesn't change. Looking at the seller's perspective, their timing changes. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do we want? We want to call people right now, today at 3 o'clock, and get a listing appointment for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's our goal. But what if they say, hey, John, listen, you sound pretty good, but I don't need you until September 1st. We're not ready. You know, we got a couple things going on here. We're in vacation, kids, Little League. Call me back September 1st. So they still want to sell, and that was an expired, or that was a previous canceled listing. Okay. So, and we all know by now, right? Because this has happened to every one of us. Don't wait till September the 1st to call them, right? Because they'll be down in Florida if you do. Okay. Call them once a month to make sure that time frame is still intact. Because things can change and boom, they list the very next week. So the big point I have is 90% of those four areas still very much want to sell. But most agents give it one or two tries and they give up. So what I do, and I'm the fully recognized, people don't pay attention to this thing, especially the younger crowd. I mean, I'm over 60 now, and like my little daughter's 30, she tells me I don't know how to use my own phone yet. So isn't that interesting? Even though I make 100 calls a day some days. So they don't answer your call as quickly as they used to, or their voicemail, but guess what? They'll eventually get to it, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, 2 days, 2 weeks. They'll eventually see. We all got a little mechanism in our phone that tells us we got a voicemail waiting, right? So you just have to give it a little patience. And I have more luck when people call me back. And sometimes it's as simple as, hi, this is John D. Smith. I'm a real estate professional here in Savannah, Georgia. I was just wondering if you're still interested in selling or if your home is still available. Boom, that's it. Leave your cell phone twice to make sure they got it. Something as simple as that. Or, hi, this is John D. Smith, eXp Realty here in Matthews, North Carolina. Wondered if you're still interested in accepting offers on your home on Aspen Drive. See what I just did there? So watch this. The people we're after and the people that I'm pretty sure Keith is after in the niche he's now trying to pursue, okay, want to sell, but they may have some limitations. Like the story you've shared with me several times, Keith, about the lady you were working with, want to sell, sometimes need to sell, but may readily recognize they have some pretty substantial repairs on hand that need to be addressed and may not have the liquid cash to address those. So they're kind of in a stuck position. So that's why I thought Keith's formula serves several masters all at one time, which most of us can't do. So then you just speak to however it comes about. You want to just have that first conversation. You want to just have that first conversation. So let's do this. A listing expires, and I call them and I leave any one of my 8 or 10 voicemails, and they call me back the next day. The first thing I want to know is what are they attempting to do? Where do you want to move? What's bringing you to Houston, Texas? How soon? Is there a timeline you have to be there by? And, get a time frame to see if that's a realistic fit. Okay. Then, is it a job? Is it school? What's bringing them there? And say, if you don't mind me asking, I saw you came off the market. I was so surprised to see a nice home like yours, in case you had a chance to review the last listing, came off the market. I didn't know if you just changed your mind or what exactly happened. So stop right there. And I guarantee you, I'm not exaggerating. In the next 30 seconds, they're going to tell you everything you need to know. Oh, no, John, I appreciate the call, but um, the buyer asked for such incredible demands on repairs. We just couldn't go along with all that they compiled on a list. We were willing to go along with some of it, credits, allowances, but it got just over the top. Or the appraisal came in low. Or we let it expire because we were just not getting any activity at all. We don't know if our price was right. Most of them blame it on their agent because that's the easiest way out, right or wrong. It couldn't have been overpriced, right? So, um,
Never.
yeah. So what I want to do in 30 seconds, and it usually not even, oh, John, well, we decided to wait 2 years. My daughter decided she wants to go to grad school and she's going to go here to UNC Charlotte and take up nursing. So that's 2 more years. So we can't move until she graduates. So we had to take it off the market. Boom. That's really all I need. So I got his contact information and I'm going to check in with him every few months just to make sure nothing changed. But he basically told me, he may have had a couple of good offers, had to turn them down. So I want to find out what they're thinking, what their motivation is. That make sense? And then, I
Mhm.
mean, we're all savvy enough to connect some bigger dots. Now, in Keith's case, he's got a niche now. So if somebody says, yeah, Keith, I tried 3 times to list my house and I had a pretty good agent and we got a couple of offers, but my roof is pretty dated and my HVAC is, 15 years old and I may have an issue with my foundation. And, I'm at an age now where I can't handle any of that myself. And I'm very limited financially what I can try to take on in terms of expensive repairs. Boom. That's where Keith comes in. Am I right?
Yep.
So a little bit, how long did that take? Less than a minute, less than 2 minutes to get that out of that lady to see if she measures up to be a candidate. And then away we go.
Yeah.
Then it's as simple as saying, would
Yeah.
you be,
I
it,
thought
it,
some of the real simple things that John shared with me is that, you call an expired and say, look, I'm Keith Rushing. I saw that you're expired on your listing. Are you still interested in selling? If you are, let me know. Or, it can be that simple.
Mhm.
Now, what message that I will leave, if you're still interested in selling, I have several cash offers that I'd love to review with you if you're still interested.
That's beautiful. That's
And
beautiful. That cuts right to the chase.
yeah, John, I'm going to go ahead and share about the lady here on the island.
Sure.
Okay. So I've been working with this lady for probably at least a year, trying to get her a solution for her home, keeping her in her home. She finally came to the place where she had to sell. If the home was repaired and getting all the things done, probably was going to sell for 620, 630. But in an as-is situation, she'll be fortunate enough to get 550, 565, somewhere in there. So I put it out, I put this out to, to my institutional buyers, which I have access to five or six of them. And I put it out there and I got two offers. I got several offers, but two of them, one of them was 630, another one was 617. And
Wow.
so, and the program was able to uh, do this. So they're gonna buy the house. We're already in contract on it. We're going to hold back about $30,000 for the repairs and getting things done, which we've already itemized. So once we get it closed, she'll move out. We'll come in, do all the repairs, etc. She gets 65% of of those funds up front.
Wow.
So after you pay off the mortgage and the second and whatnot, she's going to get about $200,000 her first check right in her hand. And so then I will put it on the market. Then we sell it for 620, 630. The remaining 35%, we pay the commissions and whatnot. So she's going to get another $200,000 the second time around. And she hasn't had to do anything other than trust us to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great story. I remember you shared that with me the first time. So, one thing, getting back to how do we find these type of candidates, right, Keith? How
Yep.
do we find these type of prospects? Well, I try to, I used to leave, getting back to my voicemails, I used to live short, sweet, quick voicemails. Then I started putting, longer technology, super, super five-star special voicemails. Then I find out you only got 30 seconds. So that ended that pretty quick. Okay. Now I'm back to this. I put myself in the shoes of the seller. So that family that wants to move to Houston, Texas, and they've tried three times to list and can't get it sold. What do they really want? They've tried three times. What do they need to get moving from Charlotte, North Carolina here to Houston, Texas? What do they need? A buyer. They need a buyer that's ready to close, ready to move, that can qualify for the loan and everything agreed. So let's just cut to a chase. Are you still accepting offers? Are you still entertaining offers? Okay, on a voice message. Is the home on Aspen Drive still available? Hi, this is John D. Smith. I saw your home on Aspen Drive recently came off the market. Just wondered if you're still interested in selling. The more you complicate it, you won't get a response. The simpler you keep it with three, four, five. I mean, I think I got close to 20 simple lead-in questions. You know the old story, the best questions we asked is the better form of sales. Let them talk and let them spell out to you. My phone really rings, which is simple questions. Because who's not going to call us back? Let's corner it this way. If they've already signed with another agent, we just missed them, they're not going to call you back. If their sister-in-law is their agent, you're not going to get that one anyway. Okay, they're not going to call you back. Um, if they've decided not to list or not to sell, let's say somebody's job relocation to California fell through and they're going to end up staying put, so they don't want to sell, they're not going to call you back. But everybody else is fair game. And in my statistics and even my new ISA, we're studying these numbers. 90% of them still want to sell. Now, it could be a month from now. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. It could be 2 years. But they all still have their hand up and say, yeah, John, we definitely still want to sell. And then you just got to start connecting the dots. And it's such a simple, easy, quick conversation. Most agents think you got to be on the phone with them for an hour. You don't. I mean, it's less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So if yeah, we still want to sell.
Or they get bombarded
And
with agents trying to sell themselves, saying how much greater they are than everybody else.
yeah, and you don't need to do that. I mean, I've got like one of my original simple approaches. If they say, yeah, we took it off the market for such and such a reason. Okay, well, are you still interested in selling? Oh, absolutely. We got to get to Pittsburgh in the next 90 days because my husband has a job offer. And if we don't have a home up there by then, his new job offer is going to be in jeopardy. Okay, fine. Well, would you be willing to look at a much more aggressive, possibly more effective way of marketing your home this next time around? Simple yes or no. And then how do you get the appointment? I mean, I hear all these bait and switch tactics, for lack of a better, you don't even need to do any of that. I live right in the area. I've been in the business for a while. This is my area of specialties. Maybe one day, if you have a few minutes, I'd love to stop by and take a couple quick looks at your house, maybe offer some suggestions. I'll show you firsthand how I've done what I do and how I would approach your home. I mean, just keep it simple. Then to me, the game is won and lost at the listing presentation because I prepare as hard now for a listing appointment as I did 20 years ago. And I stress that to all my agents. If you don't prepare like your hair is on fire, you're crazy. Because I take the approach, I'm pretty aggressive at it, you can tell. So I take the approach, I'm going in there, and if I get beat, if they interview 4 or 5 realtors like they all do around here now, and we're used to that, if I don't get it, the other guy or the other lady better be pretty doggone good because I'm going to empty the tank. You only get one chance. So here's a question. May I, Keith?
Yep.
So Keith calls them. Either they pick up the phone or Keith leaves a nice professional voicemail and they return Keith's call and they say, "Hey, Keith, I appreciate you calling. Listen, you sound really good. But let me ask you a question. I'm going to just kind of cut to a chase here, Keith. I got 3 other agents here in Savannah that I promised next week I'll have come over and talk to them about possibly listing my home, okay? So why should I add you to the list, Keith?
Great question.
So I tell all and teach and we have this conversation every week in my coaching series. If you can't answer that question right there on the phone, you're going to struggle. And guess what? If you're savvy enough on the phone to still get over that little hurdle and get the appointment, you can bet your life you're going to hear that same question again when you get there because the other 3 good sounding agents preceded you already. It doesn't matter to me whether I go first, last, or in the middle. Just give me my at bat and I'll take my chances. But you've got to be prepared. I am just blown away. I swear agents were better prepared. Maybe this is just me 15, 20 years ago than they are right now. They think if they just show up like the Fuller brush salesman, that they're going to give them the listing on the spot with with no amount of preparation at all. I mean, I pride myself in here, this is just, I showed you one of these, Keith. This is one of my 3 portfolios. I mean, I got dozens and dozens of sold homes in here and all kinds of information about the market, all kinds of information about EXP, some of my own credentials. I mean, I'm coming at this with a vengeance. And I tell everybody in my coaching series, you better be prepared that there's 3 John D. Smiths coming in right behind you, and we all got bad intentions because we want that listing as bad as you do. They're that hard to come by now. And if it comes easier, great. That's a blessing. But wouldn't you rather be fully prepared and really prepare for a listing and not need all of your firepower than think you got it and then find out, uh-oh, I'm not prepared for this client. You get beat for being a little lazy. So, shame on us if that happens. It's all happened to us once before. So that's the way I approach it. So there's enough information right on this computer in front of us that we have everything we could possibly need. We just have to be prepared. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that, in response to that question, I think people will tend to go to their credentials, their years in service, or the years that they've been realtors, et cetera, et cetera. They've been this top producers. And I think that being unique, if somebody asked me, so why should I do business with you? I said, number one, I have negotiated on so many deals throughout my life. I'm a very good negotiator. I understand people's needs and I understand how to meet those needs so that we get the deal done.
Right.
And I leave it at that.
That's good. The ability to connect those bigger dots, right, Keith?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's shame some don't, they got all the information and they still can't connect the dots to be like you've been a great assistance to that lady, it sounds like, the one
Hmm.
you keep referring to. And, let's hear what you're dealing with. And there's probably reasonable solutions, to all of the pitfalls in your home. Sure, part of it is the numbers. And then, what are realistic repairs on that home? So that's why I think you got a great niche. The question is, how do you find them?
Yeah, let's make that segue. I want to just take a few minutes. I want to be very, very sensitive to people's time. And I just want to kind of show you just a couple of things of how quick and easy it is using my what I call the ultimate seller base program.
Okay.
And I'm going to share my screen if I can remember how to do it. All right, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so my dashboard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down here where it says cash offers,
Yeah.
and what I do is all I need to do is put an address in there, and I'm going to use my neighbor who's moving. If I can remember where we live. Okay, and so I'm going to say, okay, search. I want some cash offers, and I want to know, I want some options on what I can do with this home.
Mhm.
Okay, boom, right there. So I have two offers right here, just instant cash, no contingencies, boom. Walk away with 709,007. So that's two deals right there that offer just a strict cash offer. Then we've got we call our dual close, where we got an offer here of 1,162,000, and this is probably right around, that's probably a little high, but probably that's a really good offer if I can show my neighbor and say, look, I got this offer sitting here. Do you want to look at it? And so with the situation, is there any repairs you got to do? And once I figure out what's the best move for my potential client, then I'll just go over here. I'm going to review these details. So let's click on this one, cash plus offer. So the tough total offer is 1,139,000. Get the program fees done. That's what the investor gets. We got closing costs. We got commission. So the net offer is 1,000,008. So at the initial closing, 85% goes to the client, 88,850,000. And at the second closing, we're estimating he'll get in another 115. So at the initial closing, I, as the agent, would get 2%. The second closing, get another 2%. However, if I'm going to sell that, I'm going to probably raise that to 4 so that I'm attracting other agents to come in and bring their buyers to me. So that's just one that I wanted to show you. The other is kind of interesting is that buy first and sell later. Now, in today's market, people really don't like contingencies. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So I actually have two buyers that will actually allow them to go buy now, and then they can sell later. And in the meantime, they'll get their loans taken care of so that they can buy and still be able to get a loan. So there's a lot of different aspects that I have on this. Now I'm going to come down here. Okay, so if I save this snapshot, now if I'm prospecting and I'm looking at some properties of people that just good neighborhoods, and I just want to do some canvassing and I don't know who they are, I can get a cash offer or have cash offers. I can hit this little trace up here, and now I know who they are. I run the trace, and it gives me contact information. So now instead of just calling expireds or whatever, I'm going to concentrate on a neighborhood. So I just call, and they're not going to answer because they haven't seen my number. I said, look, my name's Keith Rushing. I'm a local realtor here, and I have several buyers who are interested in buying this area. As a matter of fact, I already have some cash offers. If you are considering selling, then please give me a call back. Boom, it's done. And I don't know how many of those you can do during the morning or an afternoon, but you can cover quite a bit of ground. The other thing that I wanted to show you, and then I'll open up for questions here, is that we have created some incredible landing pages. And so let's see, I'll just hit on a FSBO here. Okay, so get instant cash offers on your home today, put their address in, but it goes in here how it works. Submit your address, get multiple offers, choose your offers. Why are we valuable to people? You don't have to worry about showings or repairs. It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's fast. If you got to get out of there, we have a solution for you. Why choose us? No hidden fees, everything's transparent, and we offer the best solution. Here's a frequently asked questions. So we have incredible landing pages. Oh, what have I done here? I locked myself out. How did I do that? Oh, anybody know how you get rid of that big black deal up? Okay, we just put it down here. So now if I go back over here, uh, there's a little deal that I can change let's do one with a video here. Okay, so here's a video that's going on. Enter your address and get offers. And it goes, make it easy, et cetera, et cetera. Again, it goes in explanation what it is, what it isn't. You can actually put your own video in here because everything is HTML. And if you click over here, you get all of the code. And so you can change your wording in there. There's things you can't change, which, they won't let you. But there's things that you can change and put in your own verbiage that maybe goes along with the way that you're presenting your phone calls, that type thing. And so it's just another tool that we have to be able to offer things. I think that the text one is really cool. You text somebody this page, and it shows up right on their phone. Really nice. They click on that, takes them right through that. So you can do this with text, email, and you can also create email marketing and also direct mail. So those are kind of the highlights of what we have. And I just think it's so powerful. When I started working on this, as a matter of fact, I started working on this probably, I'm going to say, I don't know, a year and a half, trying to figure out how to break into the wholesale world. And I went through, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to get to the prince. I guess there's a lot of frogs out there. And so when I came on this system, I said, this is probably for at least me kind of a no-brainer to be able to prospect and develop new clients. I live here in St. Simons, and Christy and Vicky will tell you there's an agent for every three people on this island. If you go over to Harris Teeter's, our grocery store, and yell, I need a realtor, you'll have 20 people around you in 5 minutes.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I was just looking for some sort of a niche. I'm kind of a new guy to the island, and so this really fit for me, and felt like when I talked to the people that had the platform, and I said, look, I said I would like to get into your system. So we negotiated a deal, and they allowed me to get into their system and create my own company using their system. So anyway, we got about 10 minutes. Anybody have any questions or comments for John or myself?
I think your presentation was very good, both of you. And I mean, I've been hearing about it a lot anyway, but it opens the door and it's not as complicated as you think it is. That's, I think, what I need to tell everybody. It takes a little bit of understanding, but it gives you a really good idea to get a hold of other people to find a niche product.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to have the conversation, and that's all we want. That's all you can ask for. I want to get a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
What I
Anybody else?
noticed is,
Vicky?
Mhm.
So it looked like it was Property Pro Solutions. Tell me a little bit more about how you set up with it and how it works.
Okay, so we have, okay, I'm going to go back to my share screen here. Okay, so what I'm able to offer is I offer 7 day free trial. Go in and do whatever you want to do. But and if you are, you can go. If you're in, I got links that I can send this to you. But once you get into the system, when you sign up, you'll hit the support chat, and that will schedule onboarding. So you schedule onboarding with Chandra West, who's absolutely superb, which will take you through all of the things that are available to you, and she is a tremendous support person. Um, I think that even on the emails that I sent out. No, probably didn't. But property at getstarted.propertyprosolutions.com is a way to see a page. Let's see if I can get started Property Pro Solutions. So if you hit Get Started Property Pro, can you see that screen?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it goes through all of the things that we offer, the interactive home values, instant cash offers. And what's really cool about the instant cash offers is that we have a lot of different options, and every company or every one of the investors looks at a property different. So you'll get different options that you'll find one or two that may fit your client just perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Custom listing options. We have the traditional, as a matter of fact, on when you go to that offer page, you can actually click on. Let's see, I'm going to go back here just a second. So if we click on that again, you see this little offer right here. What I will do is I will put a traditional offer at right in here. So if we take it the market value is 1,000,001, then I will actually put into the system. I'll put an open market commission, all those kind of things, so they can compare if they listed it and then went through everything to get the repairs done, open houses, that kind of thing. That you can actually drop that right in as well. So I'm going to go back to get started. Um, so there's a lot of different ways that we can list. If you're working with a FSBO, uh, we can actually offer a 0% up front. We can take it all back on the commission side. We got landing pages. There's just so much that's built into this. And the other thing that I thought there's two other things that I will say that are really cool. You can tie this right in to your CRM so that everything anything that I put into cash value and offers and details is immediately that goes into my CRM, which I use KV Core, and that goes right in there. So now I have a system by which I can capture those, put them on a drip system, and just stay in constant contact with them despite what the situation may be. But ties into the KV Core system. The other thing is that I have direct access to the buyers. It's not some cloud out there. I'm talking to representatives of each one of these buyers and the up equity so that I can actually talk to somebody. I'll say, I had one that I was working on. I said, I think that the property values here are low. I said, I think that we should be at this area here. And so I gave them 4 comps. They turned around and made the offer based on my comps rather than the information that they had gathered from the web and whatnot. So they want to make the deals. They're easy to work with. Each one has their little nuance. So when you get to that place where you want to finalize the offer, that's when you'll get who you're going to talk to. Here's what they need. and they will almost every one of them want to talk directly to the seller, so the seller is totally aware of how it works, how they're going to work with the buyer. So they're really support centered and service centered to help us make this happen. So did I cover your question at all, Vicky?
Yeah, I think so. Is this yours? Is this your company or is that
Yeah. Yeah,
okay?
Property Pro
Nice,
Solutions is my company.
nice.
Hey, Keith, may I?
Yes.
What is your overall time frame realistically in an ideal world on your whole process here? So you find a client, let's say you're making a few calls this morning, you find an ideal candidate, set up a meeting, off you go. So from beginning to end, ideally, how long would your entire process be?
Okay, so if I review our offers with my potential client today, and they say, okay, I'm in, then I will contact the institution. They will send out a contract, and that is usually the same day or next day. They sign the contract. The buyer immediately orders an inspection report, and they'll order an appraisal, and they'll open escrow. Then escrow work, Stewart Title seems to be the title of choice, but Stewart Title will immediately send out the payoff, whatnot. Technically, we could probably close it in 10 days, but I say 14 is probably about as quick as we could close.
Okay,
And then it really kind of depends on the offer. Um, they will not do any kind of repairs or anything until the deal is done and the seller moves out.
got it. Okay. There's a lot of similarities then. So, all right, good. That's good. Now, how do you handle an appraisal in the grand scheme of things there? Is that
Okay. Well,
earlier?
yeah. Let me just talk. So we on the offer that we have in the house out here. The offer was 630. That's the one that she took. The appraisal came in at 575 because obviously there were things that had to be taken care of. So the way that I explained it to her is I said, look, I said, your house is still market value somewhere between 620 and 630. So it means that you're going to get less on the first closing and then you'll make it up on the second closing. That
Okay.
makes sense?
Yep.
So the price at 575 really is or the appraisal at 575 is really immaterial on the funds that will ultimately come to her. There'll be a lag, there'll be a shorter upfront and a lag to get the second part.
Okay. Very good, Keith.
Anybody else? Christy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I have done a few investment properties, so this is pretty interesting. I may need to explore it more. I actually just sold one last month.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
So
if I can help you in any way, you let me know.
thank you. I apologize. I've been driving the whole time. I just got home, so I apologize for all the movement.
No problem. All right. Anything else, Vicky?
No, I think I'm good. That's interesting. I'm going to check out the site and probably get in touch with you.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. And just so you know, John and I are going to plan, one of these every month, just maybe with some different approaches, just to help agents, improve their listing game. Because today it's all about listings, it seems like.
Hmm.
So,
Guaranteed commission usually.
yeah, I like that one. All right. Well, John, thank you so much for your time, your
Thank
involvement,
You're
your
you.
welcome.
experience.
Good to meet all of you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you.
All right. See y'all.
All
Bye
right, take
Bye.
bye.
care.